Steven Soderbergh is back with a new spy, mystery, dramatic, romantic, thriller, comedy. Does everything. Connor, what's the plot of The Black Bag?
So Black Bag stars Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett, and they're a couple, and they are pencil pushers at a spy organization who have 4 other friends who also work at the organization. You have a therapist lady, 2 dudes who are kind of in leadership positions, middle management at the spy agency, and then a girl who's kind of a younger, new tech lady, and then Pierce Brosnan's there too for a while. But Michael Fassbender doesn't like liars much, and one of the guys who is in middle management at the spy agency tells him that his wife is working for the Russians, trying to sell off some information using one of her old aliases. And he investigates, and then he figures out it wasn't his wife, but who could it be out of his buddies? Which buddy is not actually much of a buddy? So Aiden, what did you think of The Black Bag?
Black Bag's good. It's really well made. The entire cast is great. I like Pierce Brosnan as the head of the MI6 agency, MI5, whatever it is. Quentin Reviews is there. You know, he's got a younger girlfriend. I like the whole cast. Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett are good. Michael Fassbender's a bit of a, the autistic savant type.
Yeah.
Not in the Sheldon Cooper Bazinga way, but in he's just very straightforward and...
He's like a monk or some shit.
He's not nearly as quirky as Monk either.
No, yeah, he's not. He's pretty quaint.
He's a Sherlock type.
Yeah.
But not like the BBC Sherlock, like the actual Sherlock Holmes Sherlock. It's good. There's a nice mystery that unravels. The trailer tries to sell it as spy versus spy wife, where it's him chasing down his wife and his wife is secretly evil and betraying him. Not really the case. Not the case at all. He suspects his wife for about 30 seconds and he's like, my wife wouldn't lie to me. And then he goes to solve the real case. The trailer, not accurate in that regard. But the mystery is still fun. Kate Blanchett has her own basically concurrent story going on where she's a bit more he's very robotic and she's a bit more manipulative and charming. Not to him, but to everyone else. It's very well shot, obviously. It's a Steven Soderbergh movie. It looks incredible. Like I said, the whole cast is great. Don't want to ruin the mystery. It's a fun reveal, even if it is not too difficult to guess from our cast of characters. Also seeing Pierce Brosnan, even old Pierce Brosnan, always a charm. He's a charming man.
Also, Pierce Brosnan's in this movie for 15 minutes, but that's another thing the trailer lied about.
Yeah.
You might have thought that he was the fucking star of this movie by the amount of time they showed him. They're former James Bond Pierce Brosnan stars.
Yeah, he's a step above a featured extra, but not a huge one.
No, he's just kind of here.
Yeah, it's not a very action-y movie. There's one car explosion in the middle. It's just a fun little mystery thriller, kind of whodunit, clue style mystery. I like the way it unravels. It's got some tense moments. It's incredibly well made, but not the most fun or thrilling spy movie that's ever been conceived.
Yep.
Connor, what'd you think of Black Bag?
I like Black Bag. It's billed as a spy thriller, and it is very moderately that. These people are just working as pencil pushers, basically, in a spy agency. The only one that's kind of like a field agent is Kate Blanchett, but we get 15 seconds of her doing field work. That's not really what this movie's about. It's definitely more of a detective mystery with that framework around it. and kind of this overarching plot about some devious things going on in the agency. But not that devious. It's mostly, well, it's devious, but it's mostly about the human drama.
Yeah.
And like who's the liar, who done it, intrigue. It's like a game of Clue. But yeah, no, I like these type of mystery things. But if you're going off the trailer, we are just complaining in our last video Novocaine was too much, showed too much in the trailer. This trailer just fucking lies. Which is probably kind of the way that
I mean, if
trailers are gonna be from now on, since you really gotta... I don't want to say... I feel like you kind of got the two options. If it's kind of boring, and made for old people, you gotta spice it up.
Yep.
And if it's like a action movie, you gotta make it stand out by showing all the gimmicks in the trailer.
Or if it's a weird neon movie made by Norman Bates' son, you can just make a mood piece trailer.
Yeah, that's... I mean, those were always the three types of trailers, but I feel like
the three flavors.
Downright lying or fucking
showing
everything is more and more common these days. But yeah, no, despite it not really being what I expected, I kind of thought it would be like a middle-of-the-line spy drama where, like, Pierce Brosnan's like, we need to have you go on the case, special agent, and then he'd be like, you're a fucking hotshot, Michael Fassbender, type of thing. It's not that. The trailer's fucking lies. It's a very slow detective movie. Very quaint. It's occasionally funny. It has some interesting intrigue.
Some surprisingly funny.
A lot of good twists and turns, but it's, it's largely like, I wouldn't say it's like a fast-paced one. Like Knives Out is longer than this movie. This movie's a relatively short 90 minutes, but you got like Knives Out, which is like 2 hours, but from a pace standpoint, so much more shit happens so much faster.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing. I will say, because we talked a bit about Pierce Brosnan, this feels very post-Bond. I love that every James Bond's career trajectory would be, post-Bond, would be just like this, where they're like, we're going to put you in a spy movie, we're going to sell it off as a spy type of thing, but not really at all. And then they do a bunch of these boring B movies that'll be forgotten 3 days after they leave theaters, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty good regardless.
Pierce Brosnan's in Mamma Mia and always talks in every interview about how much he loves Mamma Mia.
That's true. That is kind of an outlier. But you look at every other one and it's like, oh yeah, they had me play like a Monty Penny type, or maybe I'm like an old retired spy, even though I 2 years ago I was supposed to be James Bond young, but now all of a sudden they just don't dye my hair for this fucking generic spy movie, and all of a sudden I'm the old withered veteran.
Yep.
I think Sean Connery in The Rock, for example. But no, Pierce Brosnan's not that important. I like the cast of characters. It's small, it's tight. You can tell it wasn't made for a ton of money, which is fine. There aren't a ton of sets. It's a lot of just slow intrigue, but it keeps it to 90 minutes. I could see this movie being very fucking boring if it was 2 hours, 15 minutes. Other filmmakers would probably be tempted to stretch this project to be.
Yep,
but
it's tight and compact.
Steven Soderbergh's I'm going to give you guys 90 minutes. This is a 90-minute concept. I'm making a 90-minute movie. And
yeah.
As a result, it's pretty decent. So, Aiden, would you recommend Black Bag?
Yeah. It's not for everyone. It's even as it comes to a conclusion, it's hard to even call it a slow burn. It's a pretty leisurely and laid back little mystery thriller. Not even really a thriller, just kind of a mystery. It's not quite the adrenaline things constantly happening and moving high-paced Knives Out or something like that, but it is an enjoyable little mystery, surprisingly funny at times. The entire cast is great. There's definitely people who will be filtered out by its slow pace and sort of laid-back nature, but if you can handle a movie that's a bit on the slower, more relaxed side, it's It's a nice little watch. It's a fun mystery.
It's British.
It is British. Everyone's British.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Kate Blanchett's actually British or just pretending.
Yeah.
Connor, would you recommend Black Bag?
Yeah, I'd recommend Black Bag. Kind of like Aiden said, it's not going to be for everyone. If you're looking for a really cool, fast-paced, pew-pew spy movie, this is not that.
No.
I think 2 guns are shot the whole movie, if an Alec Baldwin blank gun counts. It's very much just a group of people, and kind of it's just a short little character study. It's a spy movie, but you don't get any like Jason Bourne type spies. They're just those dudes in the office that talk to Jason Bourne for 2 seconds while he's like come back to base, Jason Bourne, and then he says no, and then he smashes his phone on his leg or whatever and starts killing people.
Yeah.
You get the guy on the phone that says, can you please come home, Mr. Rogue Agent guy?
Mission's
you're
over.
You're not getting Tom Hanks, you know.
Mission's over, Ethan Hunt.
At best you're getting Simon Pegg. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames.
You get like a Money Penny. You get like Money Penny type characters. That's what you can expect here. They're just a bunch of nerds.
Cool.
But I liked it.